Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Kinston where police are investigating after suspicious activity was captured on a doorbell camera. This morning at around 5:30 a.m., police say officers were called to a home on St. George Place for a report of suspicious activity. When officers got there, the homeowner told police that his Ring camera captured 3 individuals seen walking across the property with flashlights between 3 and 3:30 a.m. One of the individuals could be seen holding up what appears to be a gun as they walk out of the camera's frame. Now, officers checked the surrounding area but were unable to find the individuals seen in the video. Kinston police are asking residents to stay vigilant and be aware of their surroundings. Anyone with information related to this investigation is asked to call the Kinston Police Department at 252-939-4020, or you can reach out to the Lenoir County Crime Stoppers line at 252-523-4444. Now, we also want to turn our attention to the ongoing war in Gaza. And despite the U.S.-backed ceasefire in Gaza, Israel again did carry out airstrikes on the Strip that authorities say killed 104 people, more than half of them being women and children. NBC's Matt Bradley has more from Tel Aviv.
Well, it's now been more than 2 days since Israel reinstated that ceasefire that had been hanging on by a thread after Israel reported several violations that they attributed to Hamas, that they said because Hamas had been firing at Israeli troops across that so-called yellow line, and they said not surrendering all of the remaining hostages' bodies still being held in the Gaza Strip, a constant source of disagreement between Israel and Hamas. Now, there was a series of airstrikes up and down Gaza Strip launched by Israel over the past couple of days that killed more than 100 people, including, according to Palestinian health authorities in the Gaza Strip, which is ruled by Hamas, nearly half of them were children. 20 of them were women. Now, Israel released a list yesterday with an infographic of what they said were all of the, quote, Nukhba terrorists, the top elite terrorists working for Hamas in the Gaza Strip who they had targeted and killed. Hamas disputed those names and said some of them didn't exist. Some of them were still alive. Now, it looks as though this ceasefire is going to continue to hold, and we have other examples of where we're seeing this. In Lebanon, Israel continuing to strike targets that they say are affiliated with Hezbollah. That is well about a year into a ceasefire there over the Lebanese-Israeli border, and that is also still holding. It just goes to show that throughout this region, wherever Israel has been making ceasefires, there's continuing skirmishes and firefights, but the will to keep the guns silent, more or less, remains. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Thank you very much, Matt, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast again, keeping an eye on Hurricane Melissa. Some of those waves, again, expected to be crashing along our coast over the next 24 hours. You can see Melissa is moving towards Bermuda. It's not going to be taking a turn towards us, thankfully, because we've got a cold front that sits between us and Melissa. It's that band of clouds. Behind that band, you again are seeing a plentiful sunshine across the Carolinas. We're kind of on the backside of that cold front, and it's quite present, quite pleasant, to be honest. It's feeling pretty nice outside. The rain showers we had earlier this morning again continue to pull away from the coast. We're still seeing again a few hit and miss sprinkles along the Outer Banks, but the rest of eastern North Carolina right now looking like this, looking sunny, looking dry, and looking quite comfortable. 68 degrees in New Bern right now. Westerly breeze at 15 miles an hour. Washington showing again a similar outlook, 68 degrees, southwesterly wind at 10 miles an hour. But again, lots of sunshine no matter where you go in the east today. And that's going to be something we say all the way into tomorrow as well. Now, air temperatures may take a little bit of a hit today into tomorrow. We're already starting to see the winds slowly shift from the southwest to the west-northwest. It's going to be a gradual process, but even that slight change will lead to, again, cooler air temperatures returning to the region by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon. And then tomorrow night, Could be downright chilly at times. Here's what we've got, though, for the rest of today. Air temperatures likely peaking in the upper 60s this afternoon. Lots of sunshine to go around, but again, a westerly breeze. May have a little bit more of a southwesterly component later on this evening, but again, going to be seeing more of a west-northwesterly wind across the east for tomorrow, and that will help keep those Halloween temperatures a little bit cool. Air temps going to be at around the low 60s by 5, as I'm sure many of the trick-or-treaters are going to be heading out by that point. 57 degrees by 7, down to the mid, possibly even low 50s as we head towards 9 p.m. So here's a big picture look at what we've got going on across the southeast. That cold front again carrying Melissa out into the Atlantic. Behind it, it's high pressure. That's the story. It is going to keep us very sunny and dry for the upcoming weekend. However, the circulation and position of that high will promote more of a west-northwesterly wind, and that will cool us off as that northwesterly wind gets a little bit stronger. Now, that area of low pressure you're seeing back towards Wisconsin and Illinois, that is our next round of rain. May try to gather some of that moisture you're seeing across southern Illinois and southern Missouri, but for right now, nothing looks severe here in eastern North Carolina. Thank goodness. Now, again, we are continuing to keep an eye on Hurricane Melissa. Right now, forward movement speed at 24 miles an hour. That's the number we need to get bigger. The faster this system moves, the faster we don't have to worry about it anymore. But right now, it is a Category 2 hurricane with 105 mile an hour maximum sustained winds with gusts up to 125 miles an hour. It is certainly something we'll keep an eye on, but for right now, again, it's looking like its impact over eastern North Carolina, however minimal it is, will be relatively brief. Shouldn't be longer than a 36-hour period where, again, we see maybe some more wave energy reach our coastline. Coming up for the weekend, sunny skies. Stick with us. We'll have some rain showers showing up late Sunday night into Monday. But, of course, we're also turning the clocks back. So if we get rain showers, at least hopefully we get an extra hour of sleep to go along with it. And then, of course, do not forget voting. Coming up on Tuesday, that is voting day. Make sure you vote on Tuesday or ahead of Tuesday. Early voting is happening across the east right now. Next week, we will be a touch warmer, but not by a whole lot. Monday back up into the low 70s, but then we're sitting in the mid to upper 60s for the remainder of next week. Well, that's all we have time for today's 1 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Thursday.